Alright, this video is on ellipses. Alright, fancy name for ovals, but these are ellipses. So we're going to start by looking first at writing equations from a graph. Okay, now you're going to look at pictures in your book and you're going to ignore those directions in the book, but you're going to look at the equation on the graph and we're going to write the equation. You're going to look at the figure on the graph and write the equation for it. Now notice it's an ellipse. It is elongated along the y-axis. So notice your equation for ellipses, all right? There's a plus sign in the middle, and they equal 1, right? H and K are the center, like always. That has been true with all of our conics, and it will be true. Now look, A is the distance from the outer edge along the x-axis to the center, and B is the distance along the y-axis to the center, all right? Okay, so we have this ellipse, and let's figure out where our center is first. Okay, our center is right here at 0, 0. Would you agree? I hope so. That's just 0, 0. So when I write my equation, I know it's x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared, because h and k are both 0. And I know it's equal to 1. Now I need to figure out what a and b are. Well, a is the distance from the center to the outer edge on the x-axis. So here's the center. Where's the outer edge? 1, 2, 3. So that's a 3. Well, it's going to be 3 squared down here. And then B is the distance from the center to the outer edge along the y-axis. So let's count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 squared. So then we clean it up. Okay, I don't need parentheses if it's a 0. So it's just x squared over 9 plus y squared over 36 equals 1. And that's my answer. All right, let's try another one. Same idea. Let's find first our center. Okay, it's marked for us in this graph, so we don't have to figure it out. It's at 2, 1. So x minus h, so minus 2, plus y minus k, which was 1. So this is minus 1. Now a, remember a is the distance from the center to the outer edge along the x-axis, so let's count this. Let's see, it goes, if this is, x is 2, 3, 4, 5. So what's the distance from 5 to 2? That distance right there is really 3. I mean, I stepped 3 spaces, so it's 3 squared. B is the distance from the outer edge along the y-axis to the center. So let's think about this. If y is 1, 2, 3, that's coming up 2 spaces. 1, 2. So that's 2 squared equals 1. That didn't change. So now we clean it up. X minus 2 squared over 9 plus y minus 1 squared over 4 equals 1. All right. One more example. Again, start with the center. Look, they gave us the center right here at negative 3 and 1. So I'm going to do x minus h. So it's minus negative 3 makes it plus 3, plus y minus k, so it's going to be negative 1, equals 1. So let's figure out what a and b are. Okay, a is the outer edge along the x-axis, the distance from that to the center. So here's this. If that x value is negative 1 and this one is negative 3, there are 2 spaces in between, right? Negative 1 to 2, negative 2 to 3, so that's a 2 squared. And then b goes this way. Well, if y was 1 at the center and it's 2 at the outer edge, there's only 1 space in there, so that's 1 squared. So we clean it up. All right, and there's our answer. Okay, where's the center? Well, let's figure out this point first. That center is at 1, 1, 2, negative 2, right? Okay, so x minus h would be x minus 1 squared plus y minus a negative 2 means plus 2. It's 1. Now let's figure out a and b. All right, so if x is the center, or this is the center and it's at 1, the x value is at 1, 2, 3. Where's the outer edge along the x-axis? That's only 2 spaces, so it's 2 squared. B is the distance from the center to the outer edge vertically. So this goes from Negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. So how many spaces did that move? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 squared. So x minus 1 squared over 4 plus y plus 2 squared over 16 equals 1. All right? There's lots of examples for you from the graph writing the equation. Now let's talk about completing the square. We did this before. We're just going to do the same thing. So here's the steps to remember. We want to pull out a coefficient if we need to, and I'll show you what that looks like. Complete the square, and then make sure with an ellipse it has to equal 1. So look at this equation. You have an x squared, a y squared, a y, and a constant. I want to move my constant over to the right side. So everything over here is either an x or a y. So I have x squared plus y, 2y squared plus 8y equals negative 4. All right, now I want to group these puppies together. And I noticed that my y's, I have a greatest common factor I could take out of both of these of 2, right? Now I know you might think of y as well, but we're not going to take out the y, and I'll show you why. X squared plus 2, and I have y squared plus 4y equals negative 4. Now I want to complete this square. This is already completed. I don't need to mess with x squared. It's good to go. So it's going to stay the same. Leave my 2 alone. Now if I complete the square, remember what we did. We took y, and we took half of the coefficient, which was 2, and we left it positive, and we're going to square it. But we need to balance it, remember? So my negative 4 comes down. Now in order to balance this, remember we took this number here and squared it. So 2 squared. Now what's different about this is we now have to multiply that by the coefficient outside. So 2 squared is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So I need to add 8 to both sides. Okay? And I'm adding it already right here with this notation. So I need to add it to the right so everything balances. Okay, so let's clean this up. So x squared plus 2, y plus 2 squareds equals negative 4 plus 8 is 4. So we're almost at our ellipse equation, but remember it has to equal 1. So in order for it to equal 1, I'm going to divide through every term by 4. And then clean it up. X squared over 4. This reduces. So I have y plus 2 squared over 2 equals 1. All right, so there's my equation. Notice the directions. You got to write the equation. We did that. Identify the center. Okay, where's our center? Well, HK, remember H deals with X and K deals with Y. So nothing's being subtracted from X, so my center X is 0. With the Y, K is a negative 2. Remember, you got to change the sign, so it's negative 2. And then you want to determine which one is the major axis here. Okay, so we're deciding, does it go up and down or does it go side to side? Well, you look at the bottoms, the A's and the B's. Which one is bigger? Well, A is bigger. That means the major axis is X. All right, that's as hard as that gets right there. Okay, let's try another one. All right, let's group our variables together. So I have x squared plus 4x plus 4y minus 24, and I'm going to move my constant over by subtracting 36 from both sides. Okay. So, oh, that has a y on it. Sorry. All right, so I need to pull out a coefficient. I don't need it to do that on the x's, but I do need to do it on the y's. So let's do that step. And I'm going to pull out a 4. So I have y, that's y squared. Y squared minus 6y equals negative 36. Now we need to complete the square here, and we need to complete the square here. So we're going to do x plus half of 4 is 2, and I'm going to square it. Plus, bring that 4 down. Y, minus sign stays minus. What's half of 6? 3. Square it. Negative 36. Now we need to balance it. So come back here. 2 squared is 4, so I need to add 4 over here. Negative 3 squared is 9. 9 times 4 is 36. Okay, so let's clean that up. X plus 2 squared plus 4, y minus 3 squared equals, well, 36, negative 36 plus 36 is 0, so this is just 4. And then we need to put it in correct form. So we need to divide through all the way by 4. So I have x plus 2 squared over 4, plus those 4's cancel. So y minus 3 squared equals 1. So there's my equation step. Now let's identify the center. What's the center? Well, h is negative 2. Don't forget to change the signs. And k is a positive 3. And the major axis, well, which one is bigger? This has a 1 under it, really. So that means the x-axis is bigger. And so what that means graphically is that your ellipse goes side to side, not up and down. Okay, let's group these. Look, x's are together, y's are together, constant. You need to move that constant over here. All right? So let's do some things here. All right, let's pull out coefficients. What coefficients should I pull out of these two? A 9. So 9 is going to leave me with x squared minus 2x, plus pull out a 4 out of these two, y squared plus 4y, and I'm going to move that constant over. So hopefully you understand what I did. I pulled out coefficients, and I moved my constant in one step. Now I need to complete the square. So 9 comes down, x minus, what's half of 2? 1, and I square it. Bring that 4 down, y plus half of 4 is 2, and I square it, equals 11. Now we have to balance this, however. Okay, so let's think. Negative 1 squared is 1. 1 times 9 is 9, so I have to add 9. And over here, I have 2 squared is 4. 4 times 4 is 16, so I add 16. All right? So let's clean it up. Let's see, that's 27 plus 9, which gives me 36. Okay, so now we need to put it in ellipse form, so we need to make it equal to 1. So I'm going to divide through by 36. That's going to be 1, and let's clean this up. X minus 1 squared. 9 goes into 36 4 times, so this is a 4. 4 goes into 36 9 times, equals 1. All right, so there's my equation. And then what's my center? Well, h is 1, k is negative 2, and the major axis, well, let's look. A is really 2 because it's 2 squared, and b is 3 squared. So which one's bigger? The b is. So that means that y is my major axis. That means my ellipse is going up and down, not side to side. All right? So hopefully these examples are helpful, and we'll see you in class.